We're in the Hunt Room in the Pioneer Museum, and it's named the Hunt Room in honor of the Hunt family that purchased this building and donated it to the Martin County Historical Society. There's a variety of different things in this room. Here we have some things relating to athletics, especially baseball, the Fairmont Martins, but there's also horseshoes, skates, golf clubs, things like that. Over on this side, we have, which I think is very interesting, the Whirland display. Captain Frederick Whirland was the first official weatherman in Martin County. He actually sailed around the world on a ship, and he liked Martin County because of Pierce Lake, I believe, is where he settled. So very interesting, very unique display. He married Sally Whirland. They eloped back in late 1800s. And going on over this direction, we have a dental display from the early 1900s, a foot-operated drill. There was not suction for the saliva you spit into the cup there, and of course, some of the unique items that were used. Looks a little scary to me, but I guess most people that experienced it, lived through it. And moving on, Jim, what do we have over there?
Yeah, so we've got some interesting collections, some banking history, as well as a few toy things. We've got this really interesting collection of old telephones. I remember growing up with the rotary phone. So these are from 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, different eras of phones that you would have found in people's homes, of course. Yeah, those are really, really neat, really cool design on some of them. So definitely one to see. Of course, we have the banking history, the different banks that were present throughout Martin County's history. So of which there have been several, many of which in the very early days of our county came up, did business for a few months or a few years, and then eventually stopped doing business or went out of business. So very cool displays. Be sure to pay attention to those. As we get over here, we've got some medical items, some different things which are fun to look at and maybe not so fun to look at. Over here we've got baby scale. This was from the Truman Clinic, as well as this doll. Would be the Red Cross would use this to teach parents or mothers how to care for their babies when they would arrive. Lots of other things, doctor's bags, of course, those were critical in the early years. This sun lamp, heat your children, get them ready for summer with the sun lamp. I don't think that's FDA approved. Moving on, lots of different pictures of pioneer doctors, a really nice pharmaceutical display, different things you would have found at the pharmacist, as well as the different equipment that they would have used to prepare things, get them ready for you to ingest in some way. Coming through here, we have different toy displays, some other extra fashion pieces. Over in this cabinet on this side here, we've got a really interesting camera display. Now obviously we can just take pictures with our cell phones, but that was not always the case. So lots of different cameras, some dating back as early as the 1900s. Coming along here, we've got some different things from some notable people, celebrities, I guess, if you will, such as Miss Minnesota, our annual meeting speaker for the year, Anita Borkert. This album here belonged to Gail Garber, and she was an actress who had family in Fairmont, so she would come to visit her family. Eventually, she did move here, and she did a lot of acting work both on stage and on screen. So here are some different pictures from the different people she worked with, Bert Lahr, Jackie Gleason, amongst others. So really, really fun pictures. In this room, you'll also find some musical instruments, some woodworking tools, sort of a hodgepodge of different collections. So one collection right over here, I see some hats. Lenny, do you want to tell us about those?
Well, do you like this one, Jim?
Very fashion forward.
Well, this is actually not one that I'm going to tell you about. The hats over here are from Annabelle Webb. She was a radio personality on KSUM radio. She interviewed a lot of different people, some very famous people like Liberace as well. And she was known for having a hat collection. In addition to her collection, on this side you see some more children's items, some toys, more hats, just a variety of miscellaneous items that are shown here in this display case.
Sure.
One thing that's very interesting as well is the Mozart Marching Society. They were in existence from the mid-60s to the mid-70s.
And what were they?
They put on musicals. They were singers. Quite a number of different people were involved over the years.
Looks like they had fun.
They did. They did. It was really a popular organization. They had a lot of fun in the area, and they were in existence for about 10 years. Mozart Marching Society.
Sure. Well, I know we covered quite a bit. I know not everything. Is there anything else you want to point out before we depart?
Well, I think the best thing now would be for people just to come and visit and take a look at the things we mentioned, as well as the things we didn't, that they'll be able to see when they walk through.
Sounds good.